So I found that stat regarding the survey that was run. Some of those stats in that were quite interesting, because basically what that tells me is that a lot of the people in the NFP industry are under a lot of pressure and doing a lot of work with a lot less resources. Is my interpretation of that. So therefore, all of what they're really looking for is a lot of automation and a lot of help wherever they can get it. And obviously, one of the areas, hopefully today, we're going to show you is where you can achieve some of that. So let's get started. The way I like to kick off my presentations is, rather than delve straight into the actual application itself, I want to give you a little bit of an insight of what a day in the life of a Microsoft Dynamics user looks like, and how all the products talking to one another. So we keep talking about how all these products are all part of the same stable, and there's this big, beautiful family called Microsoft Dynamics. So I want to give you a little bit of an insight of what that looks like to the end user. So here I am in Outlook, because where do we spend most of our time all day is reading emails, triaging emails, responding to emails, and acting with emails as such. So what Microsoft has done, they've recognized that, and what they've done here is what I'm about to show you. Is, let's say I have an example whereby a supplier, a customer is sending me an email, and they're asking, say, for example, some details. In this case here, hey, can you tell us where, payment on these 3 invoices is? Now, in this case here, they've listed the invoice numbers on the email. So because I have Dynamics Business Central deployed as part of this Dynamics big environment that I have, what that means is that Outlook now is able to communicate with and able to quickly look into Business Central. So when an email lands in my in tray, it scans through, firstly identifies who the sender of the email is. Does that exist as a contact within Business Central? Yes, it does. It links it to the supplier account, and then it reads through the email itself and says, oh, actually, I recognize some of this text. This looks like, in this case here, maybe an invoice. And therefore, I will show it to Rob as a link. That way, if Rob wants to have a look at that invoice in BC, all he has to do is click on it. So with a simple one click from the email, I'm now viewing information about that particular invoice directly here in the email in Outlook, without having to separately log into the system, separately look at the, log into Business Central and look at that information, go searching for that invoice and copy and paste and what have you. It's just simple one click and away I go. There's all the information about that particular invoice. And there's even functions I can do about this particular invoice if I wish to go right through that level. If let's all now use this scenario whereby they never gave me, the supplier who sent this email never gave me details about the invoices, but purely said, hey, where are we at with our account? Then what I could do is I can click on this little Business Central button I have here. Again, this is now appears here because I have Business Central deployed in my Microsoft Dynamics world that I live in. So now, when I click on that button, what it does, using the sender of the email as a contact identifier, it goes through. Robert happens to be a contact on many accounts, so I'm just going to have to select which account specifically I want to look at. So that's that one there. So when I click on this, now all of a sudden, again, without leaving the email, without leaving Outlook, right alongside it, I have at my disposal here, right on my fingertips, I have all the information about that vendor account. I can see how much we actually owe them. I scroll down, I can see an age payables for them. I can see a list of all open and posted transactions I have for them. And everything here is I can interact with. I can click on and drill down. I want to look at the $158,000 that I owe them. Here they are. These are the transactions. I want to drill down into those transactions. It's a simple point and click, and away you go. So no different if I had logged into that account. So hopefully what you can see from what I'm showing you is they've streamlined all of that processing that you would do, albeit there's lots of, it's probably not huge individually, but when you do this, 20 times a day, it all adds up, and suddenly you've saved an hour in the day in just replying to emails. Yeah. So that's a small insight as to what we can do with that whole what we call interoperability. There's a whole bunch of other stuff we can do as well. You can see here, I can actually raise and create transactions within Business Central. So I can create sales invoices, purchase orders, and the like, all from information directly that appears within the email itself. So very, very streamlined. And we'll come back, when we look at workflows, we'll come back and look at some more streamlined efficiencies that we can gain directly from the emails and leveraging some of what I've just shown you as well.